Alright, so I'm going to be doing a bit of a builder's thoughts here on the event that I was at a couple of, just literally a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to be going over the status of the robot and if it will ever see the light of day again, which actually I have some pretty exciting news about that. So, let's get right into the first fight.
Fight, robots, fight! Nice box rush. Commentary.
No, why did you die?
Alright, so counting him out. Assuming that he gets left right there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Robot the Robot with a very quick knock.
So the first fight was against a robot called Whack, and Whack was an interesting opponent because I wasn't sure how to fight a vert. I've never fought a vert before. I've only actually, until that point, I've only fought a wedge and a spinner. So Whack was a completely new opponent for me, so I wasn't sure how to approach it. Luckily, I didn't even have to really do anything. He did himself in, which I was really lucky that he did, because that spinner was really scary. He didn't do anything to me. He didn't even touch me, actually. He couldn't get under me, so he was trying to get under me, and he turned around and he hit the wall, and he flipped over, which was super lucky, because you'll see me pause during intervals of the fight. The robot wasn't working correctly. The transmitter wasn't connecting correctly, so I was really confused on why that was happening. I eventually got it fixed later, but it was that's the explanation for the pausing and stuff that was happening. The fight overall was really kind of dull. I didn't want that's not the way I wanted to win. I didn't want to win because the other guy just flipped over, and that felt really bad. Especially because the robot wasn't working the way I wanted it to. I wasn't able to get under him and be aggressive like I normally am. So there's that fight in the bag. And the next one was equally disappointing because my next opponent, Root Mean Squared, didn't work either.
Fight!
No, why are you not working?
You were supposed to test before. Okay, there it goes. You can go backwards. Oh, there you go. Maybe you just need to have your weapon. Oh,
Why is it?
start timer. There we go.
It
Well,
was working
okay,
fine.
10. No, there it goes. Okay, I was having to keep trying to count you down. Yeah, maybe you have to leave your weapon up. Hey, it'll save your servo. Oh, you can pinch him. Pinch. Nope.
Oh, there's something came out the other way.
Oh, brutal hit. Oh, and it looks like one of the drive motors for Root Mean Square might be having issues. So, Robot the Robot might have a shot. We'll find out. Okay, can you move around the arena? Try to crab walk. No, not Robot the Robot, I mean Root Mean Square, because you're not moving. Okay, so 10, 9,
No way.
8, 7, 6. Oh. No. 5. Oh, wait. Oh, is it 6? Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your winner is Robot the...
Alright, so that was the fight against Root Mean Squared, and you can see that both the robots aren't working correctly. Root Mean Squared's, one of his drive pods wasn't working. That event, they actually struggled a lot due to technical issues. So them being immobile, that was no fault of mine. I was still having some receiver issues. So again, you'll see me pause and you'll hear me in the background. Oh, why did I die? Why do I keep cutting out? Because I seriously didn't know why. Because at the first event that I went to with Robot the Robot, I was working fine. And it just confused me how all of a sudden the robot just ceased to work. Speaking of the first event, Root Mean Scared was actually the champion of the first event. They had shredded everybody, so I was super nervous that fight. But even though I was just so incredibly nervous and scared that he was going to beat me, I was super excited to fight him, because if I beat him, I would have proved that, hey, I can hang with the big dogs. I beat the champion of the last event. I mean, I beat him, but it wasn't the way I wanted to. I don't like when my opponent just dies. It doesn't feel good. It feels like it feels like we've both been cheated out of something spectacular. So I found out the receiver issues after the fight. A friend of mine came up to me and was asking me what was wrong, and I told him, and he's like, "Oh, I had that issue too with mine. He has almost the exact same robot I do. In fact, I'll be fighting it later in this event that I'm showing." He said that I needed to cut one of the panels in half where my receiver was. So I was like, oh, okay. So I took a cutting tool out, cut it in half, and it worked perfectly after that, which you'll see in my next fight against the robot that sent me into the loser's bracket. So the first time I worked, I lost, which is kind of the opposite of what should happen. But I picked it up after I won. After I lost that fight against the next robot that you're about to see.
One fight. Nice pop for us. Seconds remaining. On deck, we have Vandal and Rocket. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop the match. Nice.
Alright, now this was probably my best fight. Even though I lost, it was probably my best. It went exactly the way I wanted to. I mean, minus the losing part, and it went exactly the way I wanted it to. I stayed aggressive, I kept on him. I mean, I got super chewed up. In fact, you can see my battery was hanging out at the end, so he chopped off my top plate. Actually, something really weird happened. He somehow took it out from under the screw that was holding it down without breaking it. Now, how the hell he did that, I have no freaking clue. But the fight was just so amazingly awesome. I was driving the way I wanted to. He was driving the way he wanted to. In fact, he's the same guy who drove Root Mean Squared. So technically, he was kind of getting revenge for Root Mean Squared. So, yeah, this was my best fight. I mean, I lost, but even in loss, you can still have a great fight. You can still have the best fight of your career. I mean, look at freaking Gamma 9 against Chomp from the 2020 season. Literally taking it to Chomp, but still losing in the end because Chomp, pierced into its, dome. That was kind of the case with me. I was taking it to Mouse, but Mouse did more damage. He actually didn't knock me out. He won by a judge's decision. So internally the robot was fine. Like literally the only damage he really did to me was he took little chips out of the flipper and such, but he didn't do much to me. I can't say the same for my last fight because I fought him again, but that's not the focus now. My focus is my next fight. So remember that kid my friend because he's not really a kid, neither of us are, that helped me out with the receiver issues? He was my next fight in the loser's bracket.
The glasses are closed. Stop the match. Okay, there we go. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
1 minute in, 1 minute to go. Oh, sorry, Ian.
No, we
I see you there.
Yeah, it's cut back in. I put it hard and then I just started getting, I got that into it. I got into it. Yeah. Oh, wait, there's a timer going.
You're more than welcome to timer and
Yeah.
I'm happy to announce if you need a break. Oh, cool. Yeah.
30 seconds. Then we have rocket and rocket. There's micro block. Rocket, rocket. Okay. Oh, bracket. That one's wrong. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
We need dual
4,
on this.
3, 2, 1. All right. Matt.
Alright, so this has been the toughest fight of my career. The robot that I was up against, Jolly Rancher, was so incredibly slippery that I was having a lot of trouble getting a hold of him. So we were both trying to be aggressive and chase each other, so that kind of created this Tom and Jerry-esque, I chase you around, and, oh, flipping around, I chase you around, kind of thing. He probably won in aggression, but I got a lot of flips in, and I was really happy that I got a lot of flips in. I got him in the corner for a little bit of a portion of the match, and I just kept flipping him, and he kept self-riding, I flip him again, self-ride, I flip him again, etc., until he got away, and chase resumed. He flipped me maybe once or twice, but I got under him and flipped him maybe 3 or 4 more times. It was a really fun match. He's a really great driver. And I was really, like, I had my fingers just crossed that I was going to win because I went to a judge's decision. It was really tight, like freaking airtight. And when I heard that I won, I was like, oh my God, I'm going on. I didn't expect to make it this far in the event. So when I heard that I'd beaten him, who was second place last time, so I've beaten first and second place now, I was so just ecstatic. So let's move on to the next fight, which I said that the whack fight was scary. His fight was a lot scarier.
1, begin. There. The movement, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Winner by knockout.
So this fight was against a horizontal spinner called Mini Blast. So Mini Blast almost split me in half. Yeah. He dug into the, let's see if the right side, yeah. He dug into the right side of my chassis and just ripped this huge gash in the side. He almost cut into my battery because my battery's right there. If you go through that wedge, you're going to hit that battery. So I was nervous. I was super nervous that the next opponent was going to get into my internals and explode my battery, which I don't want. Well, I take that back. That would be super cool. None of my opponents actually exploded my battery, which was super surprising because there was one robot that hit my battery directly and all that came off was the covering. That was actually my last fight of the event, but back to him almost splitting me in half. That is a thick piece of plastic, and this robot went through it like freaking butter. It was insane. Luckily, he knocked himself out. I talked to the builder after the fight, and he said he had no idea what went wrong. When his robot hit me, his robot just like turned off. Like I didn't do anything to it. It just turned off. Just boom, magic. Like the freaking presto. So that was super lucky on my part that he just kind of turned off. So yeah. He gave me duct tape for my next match, so you'll see the side of my robot just black instead of the green.
2, 1, begin.
Watch out. Push him. Push him. Oh, done for.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Winner by knockout.
Okay, so the next fight was against Vandal. Vandal is basically the exact same thing as Microblast, except he had a grudge against me because he's the same guy who drives a Whack. Well, actually, no. It's the son of the guy who drives a Whack. I mean, I beat him anyways. We've actually, it's a joke, but we've kind of formed a quote-unquote team rivalry between us now, if you will. He said he's going to bring a titanium disc to beat me up next time. And I told him no, I'm going to bring a bigger fork, or bring some forks to get under him. That's a banner, never mind. So, this fight, I actually broke his weapon. Well, I didn't break it, so his mounts came loose, for the disc, so it was still hanging on the axle, but the motor wasn't spinning it. I mean, the motor was spinning, I saw the motor spinning, but the bar wasn't. And I got really lucky that happened, because he had almost landed a direct shot to my battery. So then I lifted him up and breached him on the wall to where the wheels were spinning, but they wouldn't touch the ground. That's off screen, in the corner. But because I was too scared to free him, because he had already ripped through me, I got the knockout, and I was progressing to the finals.
Alright, starting in 3. Let me reset the clock. Starting in 3, 2, 1, fight!
Why don't you drop correctly? Oh no! To the Mia Flash loop! Bring it on!
Be careful.
Go!
1 minute remaining.
Spin in a circle! Do the dance of death! Yeah!
Oh no!
Tear it up! Tear it up!
Uh-oh.
Tear it up! Tear it up! Come on, hit the battery! Hit the battery! Oh, come on!
10, 9, oh, no.
Well, even fling it up if you want.
Yeah, that counts as movement.
Hey, it counts as movement.
Almost.
I'm still alive. Come fight me, coward.
Yeah, going.
Kill me.
No, you're,
Oh, you're too yellow to kill me. Kill me.
Yeah! Getting any aggression points for that one.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm good.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was my last fight against Mouse, the robot that beat me earlier in the tournament. So, it split me in half. So, instead of just grazing the top and ripping the top armor panel off, it ripped the entire side open, completely destroying the right side of my frame. Of course, this actually wasn't much damage from Mouse, because a lot of it was pre-existing structural damage from Vandal and Microblast. It was a blast. The match was awesome. I absolutely loved fighting Mouse again. Again, it went perfectly until it just didn't. I really wasn't expecting it to break the way it did, but I love that it did because I wanted to go out in like a blaze of glory. Heck, you can even hear me in the background saying, "Hey, hit it again, kill it, kill it, kill it." I had one wheel, my chassis was destroyed, I was flailing around like a dead fish, but I just wanted him to just completely destroy me, but he didn't. But that's okay. I mean, if he had completely destroyed me, I would have nothing left of the robot. And without him destroying me, the robot, everything internally is completely intact. When he hit the battery, he clipped it, but nothing happened to it. It still works, which is really good. So yeah, that was my time at Spinner Spring 2021. I hope you enjoyed my little event report here. And this is Spaghetti Coconut signing off.
Look at this thing. Ain't that neat? Oh, look, it's hitting boots. Wow. That is awesome.